All right, this morning we are talking the rental market, from inventory to protecting yourself from those scammers out there. Fox 5's real estate expert, the no-bull agent Ken Kaplan, joining us live. Ken, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, what is the current rental market climate the way it stands today?
I'll tell you, we're seeing very, very low inventory, and we're seeing single-digit vacancy rates throughout the county.
We had the recent report that said San Diego rent, surprise to no one, among the highest in the entire country. So how can people actually, and we hear people can't afford to buy a house, now can't afford to rent places, so what are we doing here?
Well, what we had was people who were buying instead of renting, and now you've got the people who are in their homes that are thinking about selling. With low inventory, they're really reconsidering and thinking, gosh, why not rent out my property?
Right.
Instead of selling it. And it makes sense now, as long as they're locked into a 30-year or low rate for the way the interest and the monthly payments. I mean, why not rent it out and have somebody else pay it off?
Okay,
that's the big deal.
Yeah, let's say you're a renter. You come to San Diego. Where do you start? Where do you look? What can you do?
I'll tell you what, first thing, make sure that when you're looking, look where people are posting the most amount of rentals. Unfortunately, they're not going on the multiple listing system most of the time. They're going on to Craigslist. And that's where renters or prospective renters should go. You just need to make sure you're not getting scammed and you're talking to the owner of the property or the property manager, and not somebody who's trying to scam you and get you to pay money up front to hold a property when you haven't even signed a lease yet.
Yeah, this is like with everything else. It's kind of a new age with this Craigslist taking over everything. So let's get more into the scams. How do you avoid the scams? Because like with anything else, when you're kind of doing this on your own with the internet, you don't know what you're getting into.
Well, first and foremost, find someone you can really entrust yourself with in your rental search. I mean, find a real estate agent who's willing to help you. Now, there's not really any money for real estate agents in the rental business, but at least they should try and earn your business by doing a little bit of goodwill and saying, you know what, let me do a little bit of footwork, and hopefully later on down the road when you want to buy, you call me. But what they should be doing is entrusting themselves with a real estate agent who will do a background check on that property to make sure the owner of the property is actually the person you're talking to, and that they're not underwater and in the middle of a foreclosure. Because the last thing you want to do is sign a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease, get into it, and then start getting notices on the door stating, guess what, we're foreclosing on the property.
Yeah. The other side of the coin, the landlord has to take steps as well to protect themselves from people coming and renting their place.
I'll tell you what, it's one of these things that as a landlord, you want to make sure you're screening your applicants properly. I mean, getting the highest amount of rent shouldn't necessarily be the first and utmost priority. It should be getting a good tenant who's going to pay on time, who's got a good credit history, no evictions, no bankruptcies recently, and that their credit has been good in the near past.
All right, the noble agent, good information as always, Ken Kaplan. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thanks for the donuts, too.